Podcast.
You're hearing from a Native American elder and Vietnam War veteran speaking to CNN after a disturbing viral video shows a group of teens harassing and mocking him in the nation's capital. Here's the video sparking outrage on social media right now. Nathan Phillips was beating his drum and singing an American Indian protest song. And this was on Friday on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial when he saw a clash erupting between a group of teenage students and four African American young men preaching about the Bible and oppression. Well, Phillips says he immediately sensed danger.
Hello and welcome to the Above Limits podcast. My name is Olympus Mons. I am the host of the Above Limits podcast. I do this quite often, speak on subjects that are current in the news and, the psychological warfare that is happening out there in this world that we live in, this crazy world. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe and to continue to watch my productions. Anyways, what is in the news today? We've had actually two stories within the past week that where the news, the mainstream media finally has to apologize and backtrack their reporting on these topics because they completely reported fake news, something that is supposedly doesn't exist, something that they mocked Donald Trump for talking about. We all know, if you follow my podcast, we all know that fake news exists, psychological warfare exists, people behind the scenes making the things that we see, underhanding and undermining the manipulation of the mind. And that is what we are trying to combat here. To get started, I'd like to first talk about the fact that this is two stories in the week that turned out to be bogus. I mean, when I first heard about the MAGA kid, and that's what they're calling him, the kid that was staring goofily at this Native American man and would not let him pass, and a crowd of boys got in this man's face, and the man felt threatened. I knew it was bogus because the starting of the whole story, they said Black Hebrew Israelite, and the responses from celebrities and mainstream, people with check marks on Twitter, talking about smacking the kid and punching the kid and stuff like that. I mean, if these people actually knew what they were talking about, the minute that you bring up Black Hebrew Israelite, you speak of racism, black racism. The most extreme version of I don't even think the Black Panthers are as bad as Black Hebrew Israelites. It's basically the whole, mentality from certain black men, women, I guess, that, they think that Jesus was black and etc. I don't know if that's the main thing, but it's like the equivalent. I mean, they just interpret the Bible and stuff like that. And I opened up with the CNN story because, I mean, this was the narrative that CNN, just one mainstream media organization, put out there, that these teens were, I mean, we could play it again. We could play it again and show how they were reporting that this poor Native American man, who is an elder, was being harassed and bullied by a group of MAGA kids. And, the narrative of that is just, they also said that the main thing they said also was that the couple of black men were just preaching the Bible. No, they're preaching hate. They're preaching. That's anybody that knows anything about Black Hebrew Israelites. They're preaching hate. They're preaching hate of the white man. And I'm going to demonstrate for those, this is how I knew the story was BS, because let's look at this clip that I'm about to show you. And this is a clip of Black Hebrew Israelites. This is not the only time they've done this type of thing. This is Black Hebrew Israelites forcing a white man to kiss their feet. Watch this.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the othermost parts of the earth for thy possessions. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. This is what's going to happen. We're going to break down. Bow down. Bow down. That's right. Go down the list. Go down the list. Bow down. I'd rather be a shit, next. Go ahead, Esau. Yeah, you might get mercy in the kingdom, man. You might get mercy in the kingdom, man. You might get mercy in the kingdom, man. Yeah. You might get mercy in the kingdom, man. This is the real, this is serious business, man.
We all saw that, right? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. The Black Hebrew Israelites. I mean, if you're Kathy Griffin begging for these teenagers to be doxxed, etc. I mean, wow, this is the world we're living in. I mean, the left has become fanatical. The left has become violent and reactionary and with the intent of violence nowadays. You know, hippies, they weren't about violence. They're about love. And that's usually the way liberals are. Now let's talk about the Native American man. As far as like people mocking the Native American man, I was at a powwow 2 weeks ago and I sang on a drum. Okay. And when I was a young man in my teens, we would sing at powwows, or we would actually like take what we knew from singing on a Native American drum. And sometimes we'd go to high schools. We'd go to elementary schools, other places where people would never be involved in Native American studies. I mean, it's cool Native American stuff. You know what I mean? The first thing they would do is, like this Native American man had said on CNN, he said that this drum is sacred, and this drum is how we communicate to God. I mean, that's very true. I mean, a lot of times you'll touch the drum and after a prayer song, you'll receive its blessing. You touch it, put it on you. It's very sacred. The first thing that people will do is they want to touch the drum. They want to hit the drum. They tap on it, and they'll be like, you know what I mean? It's like the first thing that non-natives will do. They will disrespect the drum. I really didn't see any of that, and maybe they did do tomahawk signs, but I don't fault them. That's what people do. And the fact that the kid is, I think of the kid as like my nephew. My nephew's about 2 years older than him, and I could see the bunch of cameras in front of this thing. It's gonna go viral. I mean, you got to be like, what the hell is going on? I got this old Native American man hitting a drum in front of me. Like, what do I do? And the kid just sat there and looked at him. And the elder, supposedly, he looked a little native, but the people behind him looked a whole bunch of like Lumbee. That's like weird people trying to act native. I mean, they didn't. Well, a couple of them did look native, but he could be like one of these gurus that's like pretends to be native and is not really like respected among. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating. That stuff exists. Here's my my little keychain, my beaded keychain that I got at the powwow about two weeks ago. So I know a little bit about this, and I can sing Native American songs. I can sing them good, actually, like a Native American person. And so we've already gone over the fact that the black Hebrew Israelites. Now we're talking about the young man. The young man actually wrote a letter to, where did he write a letter to? Because everybody was reporting about him, and they pointed out him, and they people wanted to like go after him, like, and they were like, I saw on one news report, those chaperones that were with them should be fired, all of them. Like they're like the kids were like doing prep chanting, like school chants. That's what they did, supposedly. And they were also waiting for a bus. You know what I mean? They were, you know what I mean? Like, these kids, you don't know if they're, if they're of wealth or whatever. They just go to a private school. My nephew goes to a private school. My family's poor as shit. Not poor as shit, but, lower middle class. You know what I'm saying? At least my mom and my sister, that, his mother, and we don't know anything about the background of this kid. You know what I'm saying? Or the other kids. I mean, maybe they're like, special guys, but they're there to protest, abortion, and they happen to be in some type of engagement with black Hebrew Israelites, and then some Native American comes and starts chanting and shit. You know what I mean? That's a little strange, and let's see. So people are trying to go after the little kid. That's pretty messed up. I mean, and then it turned out to be that CNN and other outlets had to retract their story. The whole narrative of these teens were harassing this Native American man. He had nowhere to go. He felt, scared, etc. I mean, now the last thing I'd like to get is to the thing about Native Americans is the ones I've talked to, and the ones I've been around, and the functions that I've been around, people are very patriotic. That it's some religious, true Native American religious ceremonies. There is right next to the drum, which the drum and the singers are sacred, right? Communicating to God. We got that. There's these two, like, they're spears, man. They're fully beaded, like way better than this. This is like 11 gauge beads. Those are like really big beads. We're talking like 13 gauge beads, and they're really small and they're intricate, and the design, and it's a fucking spear, dude. A spear bigger than your head. There's two of them. There's these two spears, okay? And then in the middle of them, there's the American flag, and whatever other like Native American flag. And the ultimate disrespect that you could do is to go and walk through those things. People would probably beat you up. Back in the day, there was a one guy, and he's called the Whipping Man, and he has a whip. And if you got out of line, man, woman, or child, this man would whip you. That's the old ways. You know what I'm saying? Today, you would be probably asked to leave and never to return again. That's an ultimate sign of disrespect. So the reverence to the flag, the reverence to the nation, the reverence to the government, etc., you know what I mean, is really high amongst Native Americans. So, CNN, my point is, CNN, when they spoke of this man this Native American, they spoke, oh, he's an elder. It's like the medicine man, the Mateu, you know what I'm saying? He has more knowledge. The chief also has more knowledge, and he's an elder, and he speaks of a spirituality, and he knows what right and wrong, and he has something to teach you. You get what I'm saying? Like that's the way the elders speak. You know what I'm saying? So when I think the story is the man's lying, you know what I'm saying? And the most honorable thing for him to do, especially as a as a Native American elder is to come back on TV and say, you know, my perception of what happened was not really what we can obviously see. And for that, I apologize. I apologize to this young man who is now in the limelight, who is now the object of this talking, this political talk. You know, I am the cause of this. I am the elder, the Native elder, and my perception was wrong. And for that, I've caused a wrong to another human being. And to you, the viewer of this, that's the way Natives speak. So when this man doesn't do that, if he does, I have not seen it yet. I mean, I think there would be a lot of shame. And being Native and doing Native things and hanging around real Natives, you would obviously see that sort of thing, and things like that would be honorable. So that is my video on the MAGA kid. It is time for us to hold the mainstream media and news outlets accountable for once. And it is seen to me to be finally starting to happen. That they know that they have an election. And these are the reasons why Donald Trump wins, because people are not stupid. People are not dumb. People can see for their own eyes, make their own decisions on what they think and what they see. And they are seeing the deception all around them. And it's quite clear. It's quite clear what direction we need to go as a society, as a people. I am Olympus Mons. This is the Above Limits podcast. If you are not a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit a like. It doesn't bother me. But I need you to continue to watch my work. And that's it. Hit me up.